My name's Rusty Sitton. I'm the Redneck boat guy. I build two-cylinder racing outboard boats. I build the props to go on them, and we also sail a 33-foot catamaran named See Y'all Later. Hope you enjoy the channel. Alright, this is going to be how to do a drunk chicken. What I like to do, first off, before it all goes away, one of the things when you first light your grill, you see all that white smoke coming out of there? That's a Traeger. Let all that white smoke get out of there before you trap it, because that first start up white smoke gets bitter. You don't want that on your bird. So I'll let it go out, and once it gets a little clearer, then hey, we'll close her down. I got the meat probe in there. I got it set on, let's see, we got it set on 390, I believe. Yeah, 390 degrees. Temperature coming up in the oven, and the probe is 46 degrees. So it just came out of the fridge. So anyway, the Traeger pellets I use a different combination. It doesn't really matter, whatever your preference is. I think this is a combination of, well, let's look at it here. Hardwood pellets, hickory, maple, and cherry. That's what that is. That's a combination of pellets. Anyway, how I prepare the thing is, I get the bird out and I wash him inside and out real good. And then I put him on a pan, right, bring it out here, and I'll bring my ingredients, and I'll show you that in a minute of what I put on it. But as far as standing it up on a can, people call it a drunk chicken. I just call it stand-up chicken, because normally I don't waste a good beer on doing a chicken. If we get a drink, a soda that we don't like, that's what we're using now, is a diet root beer that turned out to be just really kind of not very flavorful. What you really need in there, all you really need is something that oozes out all the time on the inside of that bird, and something that's acidic and it's not transferring any flavor. Mainly it's just keeping it moist inside and giving it a little bit of acid. So I'm gonna close it down. The white smoke is kind of left us there. And in the Redneck garage, you can see that diet root beer right there. It's HEB brand. That's what I'm using, because it wasn't any good to drink it straight. So anyway, let's go in and look at the ingredients that I'm putting in it. What it takes to put what I put on the outside of it. Let's see, turn the lights on in here. Okay. Something I never fail to put on it is celery salt and onion powder. Those are always a standard. And a lot of times I put onion chips as well. And I don't have any onion chips. So to get that chippy, that texture on the outside of it, I'm putting these bagel chips on the outside. And that takes up the flavor. It pulls the flavor of what you've got in there into something that's got a little bit of an interest to it on the top. So here's the main seasonings. This is I usually do one or the other, right? I don't do them all. This one's got Zadaran's Creole Seasoning on it. I think that this is a new can. I'm not sure that we've ever done that before. Looks like it's got a lot of red pepper in it. I'm trying that. Tony Sachery's, I've used that quite a bit. But my favorite, number one, that I always done, is TexJoy steak seasoning. And I just put as much as will stick on there, and that's what I like. This is a little salty, where Tony's is a little more peppery. So that's salty, that's peppery. And something we found that I like as well, this Creole Seasoning, I thought it was going to be the same as this right here, or I think Linda did, but it's not. This has got peppercorns and I don't know what all in it. And this is just pretty much a powder. So thought it was going to be the same thing, and maybe it's going to be the same flavor, but I do like this as well. So that's what we put on our stand-up chicken, and we'll see how it turns out here in about an hour. Like I say, I set it up for 380, 390 degrees, and I cook it for, it's got to cook an hour. Depending on the size of the bird, most of the time you cook it, let's go back out there. Most of the time you cook it about an hour and 15 minutes, hour and 30 minutes. but it's got to be an hour, even though it's a, you know, even if it's a small bird. Ooh, I'm starting to smell that seasoning. That's good stuff. All right, 294 degrees inside, getting there. But you just stand it up there and let it set, and what'll happen is the heat will start to boil that liquid. Also, when you put seasoning down there, sometimes it makes it bubble up too. But it coats the inside of that bird and just keeps it real moist. And I mean, a lot of times you'll have moisture under the skin, and that's another good thing is if you've got a bird that the skin's not broke on, it's going to be more moist because that moisture stays inside the skin while it's cooked. So anyway, this is a pretty good sized bird. They call it a young hen, I think is what it says. But you can cook any of them on there, big ones, little ones. It just matters how long it's cooked. So when the probe gets up to 165 degrees, that's when I start looking at it, and I'm thinking, well, that's probably getting close. And you get up to about 160 degrees, and it starts getting hot inside pretty quick. So that's how to cook a drump chicken, and we'll come back after a while and look at it when it's done. Something else I wanted to talk about that's really good. This is a great condiment, Zadaran's shrimp and crab boil. You know, we use it when we boil shrimp or do crab, but you talk about make some red beans taste good. Put you a little bit of that. It's hot now. You can't put a lot in there, but put that in your red bean juice when you cook it, and you talk about make beans good. Anything that I want a little bit of heat and a little more zappy flavor, I put a little of that in. And like I say, it don't take much. I put some on the chicken the other day. I just put some on my finger and rubbed it on it, and you could taste everywhere that stuff was. It not only was tasty, but it got a little hot to it too. It's got some pepper hot. So Zadaran shrimp and crab boil. Man, make you some red beans, put some ham hock in there, and cook it with that right there, and oh buddy, that's some good stuff. All right. I just turned the heat down. The probe is 168 degrees. It really hadn't been an hour. Now it has been warm outside, and that matters too. So let's look at it. Look at the chicken, see where we're at. It's looking pretty good. Got a little toastiness on it. But I'm a little skeptical. I don't think it's been on there long enough. What I'll do is I'll go get another temperature instrument and check, see if that 166 is right. I'm a little skeptical that it's done this early. All right, let's see what this other gauge tells us here. See what kind of temperature we got there. Yeah, see, it's not going up near as fast. I don't believe it. I don't believe that it's done. What I'm going to do is I'm going to let that run up. I'm going to go get me a glove. Yeah, that's not even 130 degrees there yet, so I'm going to take this probe out of here, right? And I'm going to turn that bird. Let's see if I can turn him around this way. I think he's getting more heat over here, and move where the probe is, because he hadn't been cooking but right at an hour. I'll take that one out, put this probe here back in that hole. See what it registers now down in the breast. Let's see what it comes to now. Probe still showing, okay, it's going down. Yeah, 163. But we'll try cooking it like that for a while. But I did turn the temperature down. It's down to 200 now. Oh, yeah, the probe's going down to 152. See, that's making more sense. Yeah, the probe's going right on down. Probe showing 147, and I had the lid open, so it's heating back up some, but I dropped the temperature down to 345 and kind of let it soak a little bit, and we'll go from there. All right, well, the chicken's got showing 171 there on the probe here, and I'm sure that's plenty good. It's cooked well over an hour. So I'll take the probe out, lay that bad boy down here, and man, I have found a trick. It was always hard to get that bird off there, right? Well, I don't know what these are for, but I bent them in a little bit and it works pretty good. What I do is I stab that bird. See all that juice coming out of there? Look at that. All right, I stab him about where the legs are, and then I take a wooden spoon, because that coke wants to come with you, right? Lift him up and punch that coke out of there, and it'll stay there. And then you got him. You can do anything you want to with it. Look at that juice dripping out of there. I bet that's gonna be good. All right, so I'll put that in there. My Traeger is on shutdown cycle, so I'll just let that go and that'll cool off inside. And we'll bring that bird in there and cut him up. All right, this is my setup for getting him ready to eat. Got electric knife here. Put that together. Put the blades on. And they click. That's good. And then I'll get that bird over here. And one of the first things I do is I take the legs and the wings off of it. So let's get this over here a little bit closer where maybe we can tell what we're doing. All right. So what I'll do, ooh, yeah, that's spicy. I had a little bit of the crust. Is I'll come right along in here, cut that skin, and stay along this. You know what? I need to get that closer because there's some intricacies here that might be useful. See if I can get it down over here where you can kind of see better what I'm doing. All right, so what I'll do is I'll open that leg up and I'll cut it here and stay pretty close to that tail end here. You know, I'll stay up in there close, and you have to cut the skin and get down to that thigh joint right there. You can tell by wobbling it where the thigh joint is. And cut that off right there. And then I'll stand it up and cut that part off, and then I'll start stacking my dark meat on one end of the platter over there. All right, now we'll get the wing, and I do something a little bit different. I cut a little bit of meat off with that wing. I cut some of that top breast meat off. That way when somebody's eating a wing, they got a little bit more than just a wing. So you got a little bit of meat there on it. And I'll cut that off and go ahead and get rid of that little nib in there. So now I've got him bare on that side, and I guess I'll go ahead and do the breast on this side so you can see what I do. Now what I do is I go right down the middle, barely on that side, and I'll go all the way down, right? And then I'll come down in here and follow this bottom side and cut that breast completely off of the bone. All right, I got him laid there. So that's got my breast off. And then what I like to do is I'll just chop him up. That makes a pretty nice little rack. You know, you can pick it up and put the whole thing over there at once, and it kind of looks pretty. Well, having a little bit of difficulty there getting under it, but I did. We'll put that over there. Take some of these flakes and throw it in on top. Well, that skin, right, is the really good part. That's where all your flavoring is. So I'll throw some of that meat in on top of that skin over there, and see, that came out pretty good. There's not a whole lot of meat left on there. We'll deal with the carcass here in a minute, but let's go ahead and get the rest of this this side done. Open him up there. Heck, since he's upside down, let's get this wing first. Again, I'll come in there and get a little bit of breast meat with it. That way you'll have something to gnaw on a little bit if you just want wing. Kind of makes a pretty good little piece of meat. All right, wing over here, wing over here, and now what do we got? We got get the leg off, right? Okay. Turn him up. Working from the top side this time. I really like to work from the bottom side. stay pretty close to that backbone back here and get that meat off. You can tell how tender it's going to be by how easy those joints break, right? And I'm going to save every bit of that skin because I know it's scrumptious. So what we'll do is we'll put this thigh over here. Thigh wing. I'll cut that seasoned skin up and put it up in that white meat. Give it a little extra bump there. Alright, now we got to get the breasts off, so I'll turn him up there. Still pretty hot, but it's doing alright. Alright, we got the carcass separated here. And then again, there's a little bit of extra fat on the bottom. I'm gonna get rid of that. I'm gonna cut it up. I like to cut it pretty thin. I think it holds a little more, you'll be able to get a little more seasoning on it, I guess. And we'll get this, you know, I kind of got it off there a little bit. Maybe I can put it back together. All right, lift that up and put it in there. So now, I got some chicken that's ready to eat. And people don't have to worry about a leg or a thigh. It's all cut up, it's ready. And there are some really good pieces normally left on this bird here. That's actually cut out pretty good. But behind that wishbone, there's going to be some meat, because there's that wishbone. I'll just put that all in there together, all the wishbone. So I got that meat out of there, and I got this meat out. A little bit on the side there, but the best two pieces of any chicken is on what Kunasis call an oyster. It's that back right there, that piece of meat right there that I guess they lift their leg with or something. I don't know what it's called. But there's a little old bitty oyster right there that's the best meat on the whole chicken. I don't ever miss getting that. And I'll cut some of this off for the flavor. And there won't be a whole lot of meat left on that carcass. Now what Linda will do is, she's a bone marrow. She likes bone marrow. So sometimes she'll take them carcasses and cook them down with the bone marrow in it. So there ain't much left on that bird. He's pretty well skint.
Bone broth in the Instapot.
Yeah, bone broth. She puts that in the Instapot and cooks it down. And pretty good stuff. Good for you. Alright, so we got him cut up. Didn't take long. And here's what we got. That's the way I like to do it. Dark meat on one end, light meat on the other. And it's pretty well cut up, ready to go. Let's eat some dead chickens.